everyone, I'm transgender. Which I figured in my case at this point was self-evident, but apparently not, because every time that's not the first thing out of my mouth, there's always a group of people who look really confused, like, wait, why did the host say she? Why is this person in a dress? Why are they wearing lipstick? Why are they 6'2"? Why is their voice just so deep? Is this a character? Is this a comedy character? What's going on? Where am I right now? Why haven't I read the news in the past 3 years? Wait, who's president? Fuck! Okay. I don't even care what this fag is saying anymore. I need to get my shit together because I've been in a fucking fugue state for fucking years. And that happens literally every time that I don't say it first thing, you guys. And it's emotionally exhausting. So I've learned to just be like, hi everyone, I'm transgender, which is better. But even then, it can still be exhausting, because sometimes I'll get people who be like, okay, we get it, but what about your genitals? I'm like, guys, I'm just a comic. I'm going to get to my genitals. I did get bottom surgery recently, which for any of you who doesn't know what that means, that's my polite way of letting you all know that I'm 23 years old and my vagina is 7 months old. Still has that new pussy smell. The way I like to think about it is that my balls didn't drop till I was 22. Onto the floor of Northampton Hospital in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. 7 months old means I still have about 11 and a half more years before I start growing pubic hair again. And around the 1 year mark is when they take off my training labia. They really let me freewheel it at that point. Recovering from surgery has definitely been an interesting process, because I don't know if you guys know this, but when you get a new hole installed in your body, your body's reaction is to go, oh shit, this is clearly a wound, we need to shut this. And it's your job to be like, no, that's the whole point. And so the way you have to explain it, so periodically I need to dilate, which if you know what that means, it's basically I take a large, bland-looking dildo and hold it inside of myself for 20 minutes at a time, so that my body heals around that. But for the first week after surgery, everything is still so bloodied, swollen, bruised, battered, tender, that you can't be shoving shit in and out of there. So they had to just keep packing in there for the first week. And if you don't know what I'm referring to when I say packing, it's 5 feet of bloody cloth. Bloodied by my blood, to be clear. It's not pre-bloodied cloth. They weren't like walking in the woods and found some bloody cloth. Oh, we'll shove it up her snatch. It was clean. They shoved it up my snatch, and then I bloodied it, which, no one's perfect. But what that means is that after the first week, they took out my catheter and my blood drains, and then I got to have the best seat in the house, the most interesting endless handkerchief routine that I've ever seen. And I could feel it too. Towards the end, it was sticky. And then they taught me how to dilate, which involves a hand mirror, which means that's the first time that I got to see my new vulva, which was honestly a touch traumatic. Because like I said, it's only been a week. It's still very bloody, bruised, battered, swollen, tender, other synonyms. And so, let me put it this way. Later that night, I turned to my mom, which, by the way, my mom was in the room for all of this, which means anything I could have said before about wanting her to be more supportive just went right out the window. But I turned to my mom, and I was just like, honestly, I just hope it eventually looks human. And she turned to me and just said, it'll get better. As if to say, don't bank on human, but it'll get better. So I spent the first week up in Pennsylvania, and then after that I came back down to Virginia to recover some more. And that means that I had to take more pictures of my genitals than I ever expected to send up to my doctor and be like, hey, is this healing properly? But more specifically, I took more pictures of my genitals with Snapchat than I ever expected to. Let me clarify, I wasn't sending them on Snap. I wasn't being like, you have 10 seconds to tell me what's going on, go! I was using Snapchat and then downloading it to my phone because rather than taking a picture of the whole area and being like, hey, just in general, does it look good? I want to be like, hey, is this healing properly? And then use the drawing feature and be like, specifically this area that's freaking me out. And then I would draw a hat on my clitoris. And then download it to my phone and send it on its way. I've got to tell you guys, over time, with all the picture taking, not only does it look human, it looks adorable, you guys. I have no regret, no buyer's remorse. I'm honestly at the point where if I'm even remotely close with someone, I'll just be like, hey, do you want to see a picture? In person, specifically. Because no matter how many times I can tell you, hey, just so you know, science makes perfect vaginas, and you can believe me in the front of your brain, when I show people that picture, I can still see in their facial expression that they're realizing that I don't have an off-brand vagina. This isn't a Hydrox cookie. This is a goddamn Oreo. Thank you. A lot of times people will assume that trans women, know our way around a dick or good at fucking people who have penises, which honestly, okay, I'm okay, but that's just because I'm a trooper. I recently had a run-in with a penis, and we were doing hand stuff. I think is a technical term for it. Hand stuff, and honestly, it was just you know the first time you ever tied someone else's shoelaces? And you're just I know I've done this a million times, but now the orientation's all flipped, and is it reversed or is it the same? What's expected of me here? And it was honestly, it was like I was tying someone else's shoelaces, but I had only worn sandals for 6 months. In case anyone's wondering at this point, I am pansexual, which a lot of people actually don't know what that means. A lot of people think that it's the same as being bisexual, which it's not. Bisexuality is when you're attracted to 2 or more genders, or your own gender as well as others. Whereas pansexuality is when gender is just not a factor for you. If I'm into you, I'm going to be into your body. I'm attracted to talent. For example, if you're really good at fucking me, I'd be really into that. And one thing that pansexuality and bisexuality do have in common, though, is that people will often try to erase a lot of your identity and just define it by who you're currently dating. Right. And I used to be dating another trans girl, which was great because everyone agreed we were gay. But not everyone agreed which version of gay we were. And so I got bottom surgery before her, which was definitely a source of tension. And we actually broke up while I was recovering, which was honestly probably for the best because I had every intention of literally rubbing her face in it. But I would definitely say that one of the main reasons why I do this, why I do stand-up, is because I think queer representation is just it's important to me. I think it's so important to have us tell our own stories. And thank you. And I'm always looking for more queer representation. I'm always looking for movies that have queer women in them. And I'm always disappointed because I thought Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid was about a gay woman and her twink friend. And I cannot even begin to tell you how disappointed I was when I watched Box Trolls. was okay. That Christian Slater's a pretty lady.